Thank you. Good afternoon. I'll try to keep everybody awake after a good lunch. My talk is basically on the application side of AI. So there are a lot of things which happens in the background, but I talk about specific case study of traffic safety where some of the tools, solutions can be applied. So I just thought that is relevant considering the kind of situation or opportunities that exist for students and also for research community. So thanks for the good introduction. Well, one of the objectives as we teach in universities and in the colleges is to move the students towards synthesis, right? How do you create the new knowledge, push the limits of the research, push the limits of the existing knowledge so that you can create a new knowledge. That's exactly the research. So I'm sure many of you notice here there's Bloom's taxonomy, right? Very well used in teaching and learning. And as you teach in schools and colleges, right, maybe from primary to engineering, academia, and then research, we move up in these layers. And our objective is always to create, right? And all our modules and then, approaches, assignments, everything are in line towards it. I think Shalini Kapoor already answered that question, and I found that paper recently in Elsevier. I think it's a recent paper, December 2024, talks about whether generative AI is going to replace teachers, and she has already answered that. And also it's the conclusion of that paper is that it will only enhance the learning experience and also teaching experience. Right? So, one of the indicators always we look at in any country is like how many startups or industries are like every year comes up. That has a direct link into the education system and also the ecosystem as a whole. I think globally, around 70,000 new generative AI-based startups have come up in 2024. I mean, this year. We have not completed the year yet, but still, I mean, it is a kind of an indirect number because there are a lot of startups which may be, still in the incubation stage and not registered and all of those things. But globally, it is said that 70,000, but in India, NASSCOM says that 240 companies have been started in India, and they're all into, generative AI space. And the focus is on, promoting such startups in Indian ecosystem, and universities play a very important role. That's why, as whenever you give an assignment or any kind of assessment for that matter, we always push towards the highest level of Bloom's taxonomy so that you enable critical thinking. And there's a lot of boost for startups in India. There's a lot of venture capitalists also promoting that, and there is a good space to promote it. And my talk is around automotive because I come from automotive background. There was also a discussion about ADAS, autonomous cars, and all of those things. Basically, that's also my background. Automotive has contributed a lot to the research field. That's because if you know computer vision and all of those things, if you have worked on image processing topics, image processing, computer vision, kind of gain traction uh, because of automotive. Because in automotive field, camera, radar, and all those sensors are very important, and also due to legislation, most of the OEMs, or most of the car manufacturers has to go for this technology. And then because of that, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of interest, and the academy also started investing a lot of time into these topics. So, so these are the main trends across that's happening as of now in automotive sector. So autonomous vehicles, for example, in Europe, there's a general safety regulation. What it means, it says that your car should be safe. If somebody has to sell a car in Europe after 2025, then they have to mandatorily have certain AI-based safety systems, like maybe using at least one car and one radar should be made. I mean, it's made mandatory if you have to sell a car in Europe. So we are far away from autonomous mobility, but of course, if you look at India, now recently Mahindra has released a car which has a lot of is an electric car with a lot of features, including vehicle to there's a V2X, that's a vehicle to infrastructure connectivity, and also ADAS. So it can automatically brake if there is a pedestrian in front of it, and it can also, in some safe environments, I would say, it can also cruise. The automatic cruise control, all those features are there. And the electric vehicle is a new topic in India and also globally. There is an alternative fuel topic as well. There are a lot of universities are also working on it. For example, methanol and hydrogen and all of those things. And people are now talking about electric plus another source, IoT and also connectivity. These are main trends. And why these are important? It's also because of certain social issues. Globally, we are on the top when it comes to accidents. Every hour, there is 22 maybe youngsters, mostly youngsters, are becoming, kind of a casualty due to the road accidents in India. And we are also signatory to United Nations Action Committee on Road Safety. India is a signatory, and India has a mandate to reduce the accidents by 50% at the end of 2030. And how do you reduce it? So accidents all of a sudden by 2030. So we need better infrastructure, good lot of ecosystem around road safety, and also technology. Can we use technology to bring these accidents down and then reduce the fatalities? So that is where topics like IoT, connectivity, autonomous driving, ADAS, and all of those things can help, right? So there is no one answer which can reduce the accidents, but there's a lot of factors, right? We need to have better roads, we need to have better infrastructure, and also technology, right? So, well, there is another aspect. How much of what is the casualty, fatalities is one aspect. Then there is another aspect. There's the cost to the government, cost to everybody, right? I think we are losing somewhere around 15 billion to 30 billion US dollars due to these accidents and the fatalities, right? That's a huge number. So we have to kind of cut down on this. So that's why I just thought, in India, we can do a lot. We can contribute a lot. There are a lot of young talent in terms of students, and also we have a good infrastructure. I was talking to, I think, acting principal or HOD of mechanical HOD. His name is Professor Rajesh from Model Engineering College, and I think he's told me that what we teach right now, the core modules of mechanical have kind of disappeared, and there are a lot of new topics have come up, right? So he was saying that that is true. And this is how the car looks like, a lot of parts, a lot of components, thousands of components to make a car. But of late, this is not how the car looks like. All those mechanical components, all those, your engines have turned to ECUs. Computers have replaced all those mechanical, mechanical components are replaced already. And a lot of software is getting inside. And because what is that software? That is a lot of AI is getting inside. Now, if you look at F-35, a Lockheed Martin aircraft, how many lines of code may be there? There's around 8 million lines of code. But if you look at the car, the lines of code is many more than the aircraft itself. So you can imagine the amount of software getting into a car nowadays, right? And it is increasing. Every year it is increasing. And he said that nowadays there's a lot of discussion on software-defined vehicles, which means that through that software-defined vehicles, you might keep your car fresh. You buy today, and every quarter, every month, you will get a software update just like your mobile phone. So your car is kept refreshed, right? So let's assume that you have a car from, let's say, Mahindra or Tata or a Maruti, and you want to have a new, let's say, cruise control or a better emergency brake assist function. So you will just borrow or subscribe to an app and install it in your car, and then you have a new safety system. So the business of making or selling a car is also changing. The revenue models are changing, right? It's not just for comfort, it's also for safety. So because of the legislation, the regulations, and also the need to reduce the accidents, all of the car manufacturers are going for this generative AI and all of the deep machine learning kind of techniques to build the cars, and also change and bring in more software to ensure that you have a safe car. And also at the same time, people also enjoy the experience, right? Now people are talking about mobility experience. For example, let's say that you are driving across Trivandrum Road, but you want to get the feeling of San Francisco, right? So all you need to do is that just press few buttons or maybe give a voice command and then say that, give me the experience of that. Maybe you are sitting inside autonomous car. So all those window glasses, they will start beaming the same maybe visuals from San Francisco. So you drive here, you will get different city experience. So a lot of companies like Samsung is also working on it. So the experience will change, but there's a long way to go. Now we are talking about level 2 kind of, in autonomous cars, there are multiple levels. The highest level is level 5. Right now we are at level 2. Basically is all about safety. As we move up in there, we go to level 5, it's all autonomous and safe with all of experience. That is where the lines of code, that's where all those AI, everything will be put into this car, and then you will have more and more software, right? It's not no more, it's a machine to take you from one place to another. Is becoming an experience. It's also important to understand the economic side of any topic, right? When you talk about it, because I'm sharing this just because as a student, when you take up a topic, for assignment or a project or anything of that sort. It has to be most relevant, right? Because as professors, as researchers, you also look for funding, right? Whether you go for DST or any other research projects, we always look for some kind of a funding, and the research also need to be most relevant for everybody. And this is how the kind of a business or the economic side of automotive. I think in 1960s, globally it was around 100 billion. By 2030, it is a many multiple of that. And again, you can see that there, the software side is going to be 1,200 billion. It's estimated that. And also the cloud. So I think in the morning, someone was talking about cloud as well. That is going to be 1,500 billion. What does it mean? It means that in your car is connected to the cloud. A lot of AI algorithms are running over there to generate a lot of content inside the car. At the same time, a lot of software which is running in the car, which will make your travel safe, mobility safe, and also it will give you the better experience, right? And maybe you will have to buy your car once. Probably you will use it for 20 years because software will change. So after some time, the cars will become the mobile phones, but with wheels. Or you can also say that is a data center on wheels, right? So that's the kind of a trend which is happening now. And that's where our student community and also research community can contribute a lot. And these are some of the highlights where the industry is moving. I think in the morning, I think a lot of speakers spoke about personalization, and even Shalini Kapoor also spoke about personalization in a I think generative AI context for different applications. Infotainment, music, the videos and ride comfort, vehicle dynamics. I mean, there are a lot of things, whole sort of things. And the cars also self-learn because of generative AI. They can solve problems of maybe probably the highest challenge is Indian context, right? Where there's a lot of chaos, noise, and well, in that context, how does it learn? And electrification as well. These are some of the areas. And what about India? We always say that India is a data provider for the world. And if you look at the traffic context, right? We have all the scenarios. Previously I used to work. Right now I work for IPG Automotive, and previously I used to work for a company called as the Continental. Continental is a tier 1 supplier for most of the OEMs like Toyota, and Tata, and all those customers. I used to develop this AI-based algorithms for your emergency brake assist or cruise control and all of those things. And in Bangalore I used to work, and we had cars fitted with all those ECUs and the hardwares. Every evening, whenever we have the software update, we take the software, flash into the car, and drive in Bangalore. And we used to take the car, our test drivers used to take the car for kilometers and kilometers, because if it works in India, it works anywhere. And that was our assumption, right? So, and that's extremely important. Data is extremely important, because I think someone also asked a question about if there is an accident on the road, who is responsible for that? Is it the software developer responsible, or is it a company which sells that car is responsible? There are a lot of people involved, a lot of engineers involved in the whole process. Who is legally held accountable? And we have cases in US. Tesla, for example, they were test driving. How many years back? Maybe 4 years back. A lady test driver was driving the Tesla car, and that was that was in the evening, around 8 o'clock or something like that. and it is autonomous car. So she was hands-free. And a cyclist crossed. I mean, she was crossing the road. And then there was an accident because there was a low light condition. There was a light was not there on the road. There was a darkness there, and that car was driving. And then light somehow, even the lights were on, car lights were on. The pedestrian crossing the road was not detected, and there was a fatality. And there was a big issue, right? And unfortunately, the test driver, she was looking into her mobile because Tesla car is, she was bored. They always drive for kilometers and kilometers. And she was bored and she was distracted. She was using the mobile phone. And she saw that, but it was too late. She saw that and she tried to apply, but it was too late, and then there was a death. And then the case went on, and Tesla was held responsible for that, and even the driver was held responsible. Test driver was also jailed, and the case was going on. But that was an interesting case. Everybody was watching that. So importantly, not just the car manufacturer, but the test driver, because she was a driver, and always the responsibility lies, as per the current legislation, the responsibility also lies with the customer. So India can provide a lot of data. We have deserts, we have mountain regions, we have all those cities, villages, and all of those things. And we have every possible scenario that can contribute. Now a lot of people talked about generative AI, right? This is all about AI. I'm not going to talk about the technology behind it, but at the highest level. I have a scenario here. This is a physics model. So it's not an animation, basically. And why this is important? Because the generative AI or all your AI models can generate a lot of data. So let's assume that the entire, let's say, from here to the airport, all those road conditions can be physics modeled. And the road surface, depending on whether it's a concrete road or a tar road and all of those things, I think all those civil engineers and mechanical engineers know about the conditions. So all of those things can be physics modeled. Your car can be physics modeled. It's a digital twin. So the entire ecosystem can be digital twinned, and that's a real example. I have taken the video of it, right? So everything what you see on the screen is physics modeled. So what we have also done, along with some students, we have also done some scenarios for Pune area, and there is also something Tirupati, all those curves and all of those things are also modeled, but what I have here is basically from Europe. Now, why this is important? These are important because of the generative AI and all of those things, a lot of software is getting into the car. It's also bringing other challenges of testing. If you look at aircraft, the aerospace industry, more than 50% of the cost is on the testing. The design and the development and the algorithm writing and all of those things, less than 50%. But the entire 50%, nearly 50% of the cost is spent on testing the car, testing that particular airplane. So similarly, with a lot of software getting inside, the need for testing is very high. So that is where we need to generate a lot of data. Just give a context. If you have an autonomous car, to prove that the autonomous car is better than, let's say, human drivers, you have to prove that, right? To prove that, we need 8 billion kilometers of test on the road. To prove that it is the features of that particular car, like the safety features, they are better than, they work effectively. To prove that, you have to run somewhere around 14 to 18 billion kilometers. To put it in actual facts, which means that if you have 100 cars, or maybe if you have 400 cars, completely autonomous cars, then you have to drive All those 400 cars for 100 years, 365 days in a year. So that is huge. Is it realistically possible? It's not realistically possible. That is where you need AI to generate that particular data. So you need a lot of data to do those, testing, right? And you need the various data. It is not just the car has to work in various conditions, right? And the impact on the environment, if you are running for billions of kilometers, is also high. The cost is high. So you can use this technology, AI technology, and you can generate it, right? So as I said, this is not animation, these are real physics models. Right. Now what is important is, how is it related to the academics, right? Well, I think most of you must be knowing about Baha, right? Baha event. So is running since couple of years, and many of the students, there are so many teams from engineering colleges across the world, they compete in these events. And then there is another event which is also called as the Formula Bharat. Yeah. So what do they do? It's an event where students participate, and we also support we from IPG Automotive also support the student participation. And also I see that MathWorks colleagues are here. They are also part of these events as well. So there are a lot of people who come together from industry, and make this event possible, right? And what do they do? So the students here, they form the teams, and they work on developing and designing these vehicles, right? Using certain tools. And then once all those design validations done, virtual validations are done, they take those designs and produce the actual buggies, maybe, right? Once they have it, all those actual designs, then they compete against each other on various conditions, rules. There are multiple tracks of competitions, and then the winners are always announced, right? So this event is happening since many years. Now, what is interesting for me here is that many of these events, many of the colleges in India, they have started participating around last 10 years. Over the period of time, they have improved their designs. And also these topics have gone into the curriculum itself, right? So the teaching and learning experience has always changed. So it is students are learning through this research, doing the things, and they're pushing the limit. And if you look at some of the results of some of the designs, they are really good. And most importantly, even some of the industries are sponsoring this, students groups. I think the next competition is somewhere in February. I saw that nearly 50 to 60 teams have already registered for Baha SA India next competition. There are multiple tracks. There is a EV challenge in this. There is autonomous Baha. There are H Baha, A Baha, and so on. So under different teams. And from IPG side, we support all the students in designing, in modeling their cars, in for example here, a lot of sensors are required to design their cars. For example, if they are designing an autonomous car, then you might be needing radar sensors, ultrasonic sensors, camera or lidar. And that is where we help the students, right? So we take care of all those AI stuff, and we give the solutions to them. Basically, academia is not our business model. We work with the OEMs and the tier ones. So that's our business model. But what we do is that we provide an ecosystem, solutions, we enable the students to work on those cutting edge technologies so that they can understand, how do I design a car? How do I use, do the design a camera or a radar and lidar, and then fit those sensors into a car, and then probably come up with a new car which works very well in all the conditions, right? And again, this I think is another video where you can design, we can also come up with a physics digital tuning of a motorcycle, or you can also do a digital tuning of a car, truck, and all of those things. So, because it's important, because if you have to design an ecosystem of, let's say, in Trivandrum airport to, let's say, this venue, what are the kind of road users you'll find? You'll find a cart, push carts, you will find auto rickshaws, you will find cows, you'll find a lot of pedestrians, and the dressing attire of the local people are different, right? So I remember once we developed a solution for a OEM, and I would do not want to say the name of the customer, but it's a global brand. And we were driving the car. The test drivers were driving the car near Bangalore. There's a place called as Hassan. And when they were driving, there was a herd of sheep. I mean, they were herd of sheep or goat with some people around it. There was near the road, and then the algorithm inside the car said that there is a cyclist there. There was no cyclist, but it was detecting a cyclist. So there was an issue with the data, there was an issue with the algorithm, so because again somebody mentioned that it's all about algorithm, it's all about what you feed, right? So it's all about those corner cases. And that is why modeling all those road users in Indian context is important. And that is where student community can contribute a lot and create a lot of scenarios, and create those databases, and for the for the social good, and also contribute in reducing all those accidents. This is just an example. So there is a technology, of course, generative AI. There are a lot of other people like us who can help students and the research community to come up with something like this, right? And let me just go to the next one. Just want to touch upon all these things because these are some of the examples where students are working on different topics of maybe formula car, or maybe, let's say, Baha and all of those things. And then there is in IIT Chennai, the first picture is from IIT Chennai, where there's a research which is ongoing on tire modeling, tire safety topics, in autonomous driving, and also it's the RV Engineering College from Bangalore, and then the VIT from Coimbatore. They're all working on how do we come up with the better virtual models for autonomous driving in Indian context. These are all students who are working on various topics. Well, the other aspect is that also, someone was talking to me today saying that, okay, he is working in Wayanad, and there are a lot of tribals there, tribal areas, villages over there, and employability is a question. And also the other challenge is that can they also, first of all, learn driving? Can they also contribute, the scenarios for Indian context? Can they use generative AI tools to generate the data for, like, let's say, one of the Indian OEMs like Tata or Maruti wants to generate the data. Because data is a huge problem. It has to be hand-coded or it has to be auto-generated. And that is where things like this can work. This is a driving simulator. So this is a driving simulator which is physics modeled. It can be connected with a lot of other, it can be connected to a lot of other components of the car. and you can evaluate all of the how does a real car works, and you can feel that thing, and using virtual reality things, right? I think there's a small video which is recorded using mobile phone at IIT Chennai. Just want to show you the things. It's a driving simulator they have at IIT Chennai, and they are doing some research activities. What you see on the screen is a scenario. It's a synthetic scenario generated using generative AI techniques, and there's an individual driving in there, and he is testing his skills on those roads, given that particular model of the car, which is designed digitally. So they have a nice setup. It looks like a real car, but he's sitting there, and then he gets a real experience. This is extremely important because they're also doing some research that some of the drivers, potential drivers, they find it difficult to drive, or it may be anxiety, it may be hand-to-eye coordination, it may be some other issues, color blindness, and all of those things. So at IIT Chennai, some of the doctors and the researchers come together they have done a project where they are testing the ability of a person to drive, right? And then of course, it's not yet maybe very legal, but then the doctors can make him sit here, give him different complex scenarios, and then just see whether the person is able to drive or not, or is he safe for other road users, right? So that's the kind of experiment they're doing. So there's a lot of benefits in that. Now, as I said, as we move forward, data, everybody says that data is a new gold or new diamond or whatever it is. And because of the complexity, because of the lot of software is getting inside, you can see that that green line, which says that the number of test cases need to be increased. And that is why generative AI is the only solution to handle that topic. And now, who can contribute here? Anybody can contribute here, and we have a great student community, and they can generate the data for this kind of experiments. And there is a body called as the NCAP, and in India we have Bharat NCAP, and Bharat NCAP lays the foundation or guidelines for testing a car, validating a car. And if you have a 5-star rating, there's a kind of a safe car, a safety rating is important, and that also is a trigger for buying a car. So in most of the Western countries, they look at whether this car has a 5-star rating or 4-star rating. Everybody want to buy the car which is NCAP 5-star rated, and that's why everybody wants to adopt technology. Technology can help in getting that rating. Well, in India, still we are not that conscious. We still look into, okay, what are the features and how does the car look, what is the color, and all of those things. But the consumer mindset is also changing in India, and then the virtual testing is important. And when it comes to virtual testing, because of the test cases, important thing is who provides the data. And that's where a lot of us can contribute. This is the kind of a summary what I want to present. Looking at the technology and looking at the directions, future directions, now everything is moving into virtual. Testing is virtual, design is virtual, and the planning to the actual car production. China says that they can do it in 18 months. But recently, one of the OEs in India said that they can do it in 30 months. But the actual timeline, general accepted timeline is 5 years, 3 to 5 years maybe, right? But everybody is pushing the limit that they want to produce car in 18 months to 2 years or maybe 3 years timeline. And then what is more important is quality, safety is important. That is why every validation, every testing is moving to the cloud. And that generates a lot of employability options on generative AI, cloud experts, embedded experts, and well, there is no replacement for actual on-ground testing, but then 80% of the testing happens on the cloud, right? And everything is AI. I don't emphasize more into the technology, but I'm really touching upon only the application side of it because a lot of speakers spoke about neural networks in the morning, generative AI in the morning, and so on. With Bosch, we are coming out with a competition for students where is a virtual EV challenge. Soon we will announce, and I expect a lot of participation from the gathering as well, and from the colleges, from and also the maybe I hope that many of the engineering colleges from Kerala participates in this. So what is this competition? It is, well, in a virtual world. You will have a lot of charging stations. Let's take a city of Trivandrum. You might have a lot of car electric charging stations, and you have your digital car. And you have to start from, let's say, from here to, let's say, southern part of maybe the city, maybe some 100 kilometers, or maybe let's say 500 kilometers you have to drive from here, starting from here. Now, can you write AI algorithms, or can you write some algorithms to reach from this place to that location, to choosing an optimal path, on the way ensuring that you keep charging your car, and then optimally reach with less consumption of energy and with less time? That's a competition. And a lot of support will be provided by Bosch. A lot of framework platforms will be provided by Bosch and IPG in this. Okay, this competition is still at kind of we are yet to roll out, and probably by February we will be rolling out. And I expect many of the students come and join and participate. Where do you get the updates on this? For now, we don't have any link, but definitely we will be announcing in our LinkedIn profile as and when. And also we will send a lot of emails to maybe probably through the organizers, we will also supply that. Subscribe to, it's not a advertisement of IPG Automotive, but we will be definitely advertising the event through our LinkedIn portal, so you can follow this for the updates. And that's it about my presentation. So my focus is only to talk about the opportunities for the students, and not really on the technology. And the technology, definitely we can have deep dive technical discussions if you are interested in these areas. Thank you.
We have just had the privilege of listening to a thought-provoking session on AI for social good in education, addressing real-world issues like traffic safety, delivered by Dr. Nagesh Poojary. Your keynote today has provided us with valuable insight into leveraging AI for social good, particularly in education and traffic safety. On behalf of everyone here, I extend our heartfelt gratitude for your engaging and inspiring talk. We now open the floor for a Q&A session. If you have any questions for Dr. Poojary, please raise your hand and we will bring a microphone to you. Kindly keep your questions concise and focus on today's topic.
Sir, I would like to raise a question. Michael Schumacher, in a car race 10 years ago, he is still in a coma. If generative AI was still there, he could have saved his life from the coma stage. I think so. Because nowadays, today, we have a lot of automatic braking system. So the car racing champion could have saved if he used generative AI. That is my own question. Recently, 2 days ago, I was in Colaba, Bombay. Sir, the traffic there is reminding me of your digital twin. Is there is a digital twin system to figure out the traffic scenario of Bombay, Colaba, or Bangalore? We could have reduced a lot of traffic accidents. As you said, India is the second capital of road accident, first capital. Second comes China and then comes US, as you said. So it could be reduced considerably with the aid of generative AI, figuring out spotting out all the dangerous spots, like the road geometry. It could calibrate the road geometry, where the potential danger zones are there, and like that. So even in the air traffic also it could be used. Generative AI could be used in air traffic control also. We can say, we can making a digital twin of every aeroplane. It could, the dangers coming out of aviation could be averted. So this is the talk which invigorates in me, a person like me, writing for science, a very interesting, invigorating talk, sir. I wholeheartedly appreciate you for such a talk. So your take on Michael Schumacher could have averted his coma. That is the question.
Yeah. Well, maybe first let me answer the Michael Schumacher case. Unfortunately, he met with an accident in skiing at the skiing resort. But well, if he was driving an autonomous car, definitely it would have saved, because I worked on emergency brake assist kind of algorithm development previously. Well, a good algorithm in a good condition, maybe good test case, it brakes up to 2 centimeters. You know, it can brake even if there is a high speed, let's say 60 kilometers per hour scenarios, and then it can brake within 2 centimeters range. And you can see a lot of videos also publicly available, like Volvo, so the Volvo truck stopping when a kid was crossing the road, and it's quite viral. And you can see that in real scenario, kid was saved because of emergency brake assist. The kid just crossed somewhere near Sweden, and the truck automatically applied brake and it saved the life. So it works. But then you mentioned about Colaba, right? I lived in Colaba for a few years, and I can understand the kind of scenarios there. You know, very beautiful city, but in a crazy traffic. Well, that is a challenge. Whether autonomous car will drive in Indian scenarios, maybe not sure. It will always apply brake and stay there itself. It might not even drive, such cases. So India is a special case. We need to look at it. Well, otherwise, maybe with the improvement of, with the legislation and also the infrastructure, moving forward to save the lives, we need technology. So there is a limit to what probably the infrastructure can achieve, but above that we have to go for technology, and it can definitely save a lot of lives. And the data is important, and I think we have to focus on creating the data using generative AIs and all those corner cases. But it is also said that you can't generate everything using generative AI. Then you are testing the data which is machine generated for the machine. Always the theory is that you have to test it against the humans. Human generated data, not on the machine generated data. So there's also a question, but then they say that, okay, you test a large number of test cases on maybe Gen AI generated data, but then you still do 20% of that core corner cases testing using your hand-coded data. That is why there is no replacement for actual vehicle test on the road. That will always happen. Maybe that is for the 20% of those cases. Hope I answered, but maybe I can discuss.
Thank you, Dr. Poojary, for addressing these questions with such clarity and depth. Your thoughtful responses have enriched our understanding and sparked meaningful discussions. As a token of our gratitude, may I now invite Sri Manikanda Kumar Vijay, Principal, Model Polytechnic College, Karunagapalli, to present a memento to Dr. Nagesh Poojary. Dr. Poojary, this is a small gesture to express our appreciation for your valuable contribution today and for sharing your vision with us.